Just imagine, a 6-year-old boy who joined his country's army and fought bravely in every battle. This is the story of a Russian boy named Sergei who fought against the German soldiers during World War II. This was the time when the Russian and German soldiers were thirsty for each other's blood. And because of this battle, I don't know how many innocent people lost their lives. The story begins in a small village in Russia, where 6-year-old Sergei is sleeping peacefully in his house. Suddenly, he wakes up because someone was knocking on his door. Now when Sergei opens the door, a neighboring aunt, who was already very scared, comes inside the house. She tells Sergei that the Germans have attacked our entire village, and they have also killed your mother and your elder brother. After this, she takes Sergei out of the window and asks him to run away from here. Now Sergei does exactly the same and starts running away, saving his life. Meanwhile, the German soldiers enter his house and kill his aunt as well. Here, Sergei came running far away from his village and got lost somewhere in a dense jungle. Now, since he is only 6 years old, he got a little scared and started calling out to his mother. Now Sergei spends the night in the jungle, and in the morning, we see him drinking water on the bank of a river. Then he heard the sound of the German soldiers, and as soon as he heard this, he immediately hid under a tree. Here, the German soldiers lit a fire on the bank of the river and started cooking their food. Meanwhile, a snake came near Sergei, and he got very scared seeing this snake. But despite this, he did not move and sat quietly there because he was more scared of these German soldiers than the snake. Now after a while, the German soldiers finished eating and went away from here after extinguishing the fire. After this, Sergei went to that place and took his leftover food and went back to the jungle. However, Sergei was very tired in the evening because he did not eat properly in the last 2 days. Meanwhile, he saw a wild fruit, and Sergei started eating it. But the next moment, a powerful explosion happened here, which scared Sergei a lot. Here, Sergei was mistaken that someone is behind those bushes, so he says that if you try to come close, I will shoot you with my rifle. After this, he tries to move forward, but becomes unconscious due to hunger and fatigue. Now when Sergei becomes unconscious, 2 Russian soldiers come to him and pick him up and bring him to their base. They give this information to their commander, and here the commander asks Sergei about his family. On this, Sergei says that my neighbor's aunt had told me that the Germans had killed my entire family. Everyone was very sad to hear this because Sergei had become an orphan at such a young age. Now seeing Sergei's condition, these people gave him a lot of food and water and sent him to a nurse named Katya for his treatment. Now while dressing Sergei, Katya talks to him, and he likes Sergei's talks. He likes Sergei a lot, and she takes care of him like her own child. Now gradually, all the people present here get very attached to Sergei, and after spending time with him, the wounded soldiers also feel very good. Along with this, the army commander also likes Sergei a lot, and he comes to meet him every day. Now looking at the commander's medals and guns, Sergei gets very fascinated and asks him a lot of questions. Now the commander also answers all his questions and gives him his gun to play with. Here Sergei shows the commander a tank made on his stomach and says that when I grow up, I will also become a soldier. After this, the commander comes out where he meets Nurse Katya. Actually, these two have liked each other for a long time, but no one has ever expressed their love. Here Katya tells the commander to let Sergei stay with the battalion because all the people present here are very attached to him. Actually, the commander wanted to send Sergei to an orphanage because his life was in danger by staying here. Here Sergei has no idea how many soldiers come to him throughout the day and spend their free time with him. These people feed Sergei their share of food and let him play with their belongings. All the people present in this camp were very attached to Sergei, and no one wanted Sergei to leave them. Now the next morning, a group of German soldiers attacked this camp, and there was chaos all around. Now all the Russian soldiers faced them very bravely and defeated the Germans, and won this small battle. Now such days passed, and finally the day came when Sergei had to be sent to an orphanage. Here a soldier came to take Sergei, and asked the commander for his permission. Now here the commander made Sergei sit with him, and spent some time with him before leaving. Even though he wanted, he was not able to make eye contact with Sergei because somewhere he also wanted Sergei to stay with him. Here the commander gave Sergei a wooden pistol which he had made himself. Now after taking this gun, Sergei put the commander in the alley, and as soon as he did this, the commander's heart melted completely. Here the commander asked him, "Will you be my son?" On this, Sergei also agreed because he has no one in this world other than the commander and the soldiers. Now the whole battalion knew that the commander wanted to adopt Sergei legally. Now Sergei would stay with them. Hearing this news, all of them were very happy. Now that night, all the soldiers made a uniform for Sergei, and the next morning when Sergei woke up, the commander gave him his uniform and army shoes. Seeing this, Sergei was very happy and started running around wearing them. Now seeing this form of Sergei, the rest of the people in the camp were also very happy, and they were saluting Sergei like a soldier. But in the meantime, some German planes come here and attack the whole camp. In this attack, many Russian soldiers get injured and some die. Here the commander somehow saves Sergei and hides him in a safe place. Now after a while, when the German planes left, Sergei went to all the injured soldiers and tried to help them. But in this tense atmosphere, no one was paying attention to what he was saying. Now Sergei really wanted to do something. So he went to the camp where all the injured soldiers were kept. Here he gave water to all the soldiers and helped them a little. Here was a soldier who had lost both his eyes. This soldier says to Sergei that my family has sent me a letter. Will you read it? Now because Sergei is a 6-year-old child, he does not know how to read and write. But he wanted to help this soldier. So he picks up the letter and starts saying something. In the meantime, he also says that your cow is absolutely fine and now she is giving a lot of milk too. On this soldier says that I have no cow. Hearing this, a soldier nearby says that whatever this child is saying, you keep listening quietly. After this, Sergei reads that letter from his heart, and everyone feels good listening to his sweet words. Now such days passed, and now Sergei was immersed in the atmosphere of war. He also considered himself a soldier and behaved like a soldier. One day when Sergei was shaving himself, 2 soldiers came to him and asked him that, are you going on a date today? On this, Sergei said that a soldier never goes on a date and always protects his country. After this, he went to the commander and asked him for some work for himself. Here the commander said that today the soldier's family has sent some letters for them. So you send all those letters to those soldiers. After this, Sergei went to those soldiers and gave them their letters one by one. Now after completing this work, he started playing with his binoculars, and while playing, he came a little far from the base camp. Then his eyes went to a haystack where he saw the feet of 2 people. Now seeing this, Sergei immediately ran towards the base and informed his companions about it. Now at first, no one believed what Sergei said, but still he wanted to confirm this. So he went to the place with Sergei where he saw 2 German spies. Now without wasting time, he attacked these spies and arrested both of them. After this, the commander praised Sergei and told him that you are really a great soldier. Now here the commander tells him that his adoption process is over, and according to the law, Sergei is now his son. Hearing this, Sergei was very happy and hugged the commander. Now the next day, the Germans attacked them again, and there was chaos all around. Now during this battle, Sergei wanted to help his other companions, so he was delivering bullets and food to all the soldiers. Now seeing this, the soldiers started worrying about him, and they told Sergei to go back to the bunker because it was very dangerous for him to roam outside like this. Now when Sergei came back to the bunker, he saw the commander very worried because due to this battle, the communication line of his radio was broken, and these people were not able to contact their headquarters. Here the commander sent a soldier outside so that he could fix that broken wire. And in the meantime, Sergei also went behind that soldier. Now when this soldier was fixing that wire, he was shot by a German bullet, and he was badly injured. Here Sergei asks him how to fix that broken wire. On this soldier tells him that you will have to join his 2 heads together. Now after hearing this, Sergei went ahead and fixed that broken wire with great care. Now as soon as he did this, the radio connection came back and the commander contacted the headquarters and called for help. And in this way, Sergei proved that although he is a small child, but his courage is no less than that of a soldier. Now the next day, we see the commander and Katia together, who were standing by the river and talking. Here the commander expressed his love and asked Katia if she would like to be Sergei's mother. Now after hearing this, Katia happily raised her fist and said yes to the commander without thinking. Now these things are going on that a soldier gives a letter to the commander. In this letter, it was ordered that they would have to vacate this base as soon as possible because the Germans have found out their location. Now the next day, everyone leaves this camp, and this whole battalion moves towards their next base. But when they are on the way, some of their vehicles come over the landmines, and many soldiers get injured in this explosion, and some people even lose their lives. Now this whole team takes care of themselves and moves ahead very carefully and reaches their new base in the evening. Now here they meet the general, who was very impressed by seeing Sergei. Now the next day, the whole team of the commander was honored with a guard banner, and Sergei was also given a medal for his bravery. When the general gave that medal to Sergei, he swore that he would protect his country with all his life. Now such days passed, and one night the Germans attacked their base. During this battle, there was a powerful explosion, and the commander was badly injured in this explosion. Seeing this, Sergei started crying and tried to save his father. But when nothing happened to him, he came running to the other soldiers and told them the whole story. After this, the other soldiers took the commander out of there and admitted him in the hospital. Now the next day, Sergei went to meet his father, and he was very sad to see his condition. This 6-year-old boy had now become an integral part of this battalion, and he had no one else in this world. At the end of this story, we see Sergei, who was going to his new base with his team. Now according to history, Sergei was also involved in the Battle of Poland with his battalion, and today he is considered the smallest soldier in the world. I hope you like this story. If you like the video, then like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video, but until then, be safe and keep chilling.